pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, staff, do you have any agenda changes?
No, sir.
Council members, any agenda changes? At this time, any person may address a matter within the jurisdiction of the City Council, Housing Authority, successor agency to the El Cajon Redevelopment Agency that is not on the agenda. Comments relating to items on today's agenda are to be taken at the time that the item is heard. State law prohibits discussion or action on items not on the agenda. However, council, authority, and agency members may briefly respond to statements or questions, and an item may be placed on a future agenda. Belinda, do we have any cards under public comment?
I have one card under public comment, and the speaker is Elizabeth Valles.
Ms. Valles, how are you?
I'm the one and only. So first, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Elizabeth Valles. I am a pediatric nurse practitioner at Rady Children's Hospital and also certified as a family nurse practitioner. I would also like to welcome Councilmen Goebel and Colascio to the City Council here in El Cajon. So I would like to say I've lived in El Cajon for 13 years, and prior to that I grew up in Lemon Grove, so East County is something that's very near and dear to my heart. And I have watched how the homeless population has grown over especially the last few years, and how the faces of those people have gotten much younger. As a pediatric nurse practitioner, that's something that's very disturbing to me. I have had the opportunity in the past to do some outreach with Urban Street Angels, which focuses on homeless youth and young adults, and have seen how they've had a lot of success in getting some of those kids off the streets into rehab programs, getting them jobs, reunited with their family, and so forth. I know that there has been some suggestions of how we should deal with the homeless in El Cajon. There was recently a town hall meeting, and then there has also been the East County Task Force that has been developed through the East County Chamber of Commerce. I did attend the town hall meeting to hear the ideas that were expressed there, and then I went to the East County Task Force meeting to hear more of the ideas that were coming out of there, and I have volunteered to be a part of that task force, especially focusing on the homeless youth. I'm very encouraged about what I heard from the task force, how they have a strategic plan, how they've actually developed a 10-point action plan that I believe is a 360-degree view of the homeless problem here in El Cajon and even in East County. Now, we know we may never solve the problem of homelessness, but we did have to have an approach where we were addressing the majority of the needs and not just focusing on a few. As a nurse, we know that we have to have collaboration with other partners, and the task force definitely does that. I was very impressed with the wide range of faith-based organizations, other governmental organizations, general citizens, and businesses that were also interested in solving this problem. So I just wanted to say that I am a citizen here, that I am not just up here to make any kind of complaints or anything, but to get involved. And I hope that more people in El Cajon do that, because I think that's how we will help to tackle a lot of the issues of homelessness here in El Cajon and in East County. Thank you very much for your time.
Let me see if there's any questions. Anybody have any questions, Ms. Pez? Mr. Vogel?
Actually, a comment. Thank you for your participation. Your skill is one that I haven't met somebody with yet in dealing with youth that are homeless. So I'm very pleased to see you be part of the discussion and the solution, and thank you for your participation.
Well, thank you very much. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not sure if my husband is, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Appreciate it. So that's it?
That's it.
We will now be conducting interviews for one seat on the Public Safety Facility Financing Oversight Committee and 2 seats on the Veterans Commission. When I call your name, please come forward to the podium. You will be given 2 minutes to speak, which may be followed with questions from the council. After all the appointments are made, we'll ask that the selected commissioners remain in the council chambers to take the oath of office. For the Public Safety Facility Financing Oversight Committee, the applicant is David DeBaca. The incumbent, Mr. DeBaca, would you please come forward and address the council? David? Okay. Well, staff, Mr. DeBaca is not here. So let's move on to the Veterans Commission then, okay? For the Veterans Commission, we have 2 vacant seats. As stated in the agenda report, staff has suggested the council waive the requirements of the council policy A27, proceed to interview and consider appointing 1 commissioner at this time, and establish an open-ended application period for the remaining commission seat. Council, should we proceed per staff's recommendation? All right. I'd like to ask the applicant to come forward. William McFarland, are you here? Hi, Mr. McFarland. Thank you for coming. Hello, Mr. McFarland. How are you?
All right, yourself?
Fine, thank you.
My name is William McFarland. I served in the Navy from 82 to 86. Currently, I'm a member of Post 303, which is the El Cajon American Legion. Have been there for 2 years. Prior to that, for 6 years, I was a member of the post up in Julian. I've lived in the city of El Cajon for 23 years. And after I got out of the Navy, I joined the Sheriff's Department, where I served for 25 years in East County primarily. So East County is my home, and I'm a proud veteran and would like to serve on the commission just to help the city recognize the veterans.
Are you retired from the Sheriff's
I just
Department?
retired recently, yes.
Oh, so thanks for all your service in both areas. Let me see if there's some questions. Council has some questions? No?
I would just like to thank you for your service to our Navy, for keeping us free, because we wouldn't have freedom if it weren't for you and many others that are serving. So thank you.
Well, thanks for coming. I appreciate that. Go ahead and have a seat, and we'll discuss it, and you can stay after, right? Thanks. All right, Council, and that's the qualified. Any discussion? Bob?
I'd like to make a motion that William McFarland be appointed to the Veterans Commission. And I don't know why we couldn't appoint David DeBaca to the Public Safety, but that'll be a different discussion, I guess. Do they have to be here?
No, they don't have to be here. That's your choice. But we're only dealing with this commission first, and then you can go back to that one.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think, Ben, you
That's my
were making the second. So the motion's been made and seconded. Please vote.
The motion carries by unanimous vote.
Bob, you want to go ahead and make the other motion then?
Yeah, I'd make a motion that we appoint David DeBaca to the Public Safety Financing Oversight Committee.
Does he still want to do it?
Sure. Yeah.
Second.
He has no choice now. If we vote, he's
Fair enough.
he has to come. Okay, please vote.
The motion carries by unanimous vote.
All right. Do you want to do the oath of office now?
Yes, please.
Mr. McFarland? Is there anybody that wants to take pictures? You have a family member here? Well, you're going to take pictures. Okay, good.
I, William McFarland, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter. Thank you. That sounded familiar.
Thanks again for your willingness to serve, Mr. McFarland. But you retired now. You can do whatever you want. All right. Item 101 is a public hearing on fiscal year 2017 through 2018 CDBG and home allocations and reallocation of available fiscal year 2016 through 17 CDBG funds. Staff, would you please introduce this item?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, provides funding each year to eligible jurisdictions through the Federal Community Development Block Grant and Home Investment Partnerships grant programs. These federal funds must be used for eligible projects and programs that benefit low and moderate income individuals and households in El Cajon. The city has been receiving these funds since the early 1990s. Now, in order to use these funds, every 5 years, the city must prepare and submit a 5-year consolidated plan. The plan describes the needs and goals and priorities for the use of CDBG and home funds over a 5-year period. Now, in order to receive these funds every 5 years, the city to implement the consolidated plan, the city must annually prepare and adopt a 1-year action plan. Now, the 1-year action plan specifies how financial resources will be allocated to address the goals and priorities in the 5-year consolidated plan. The projects and programs awarded funding tonight will form the core of the 1-year action plan. After tonight's meeting, staff will draft the 1-year action plan, which will be made available for a 30-day public review and then finalized for the City Council at the second public hearing that's scheduled for April 25th. Annual allocations of CDBG and home funds are based on formulas calculated by HUD and are usually released in the spring of each year. As of today, we have not received, or HUD has not announced, their allocation amounts for this fiscal. Now, staff has prepared the estimates based on previous allocations. The CDBG allocation is expected to be approximately $1.2 million, and the home fund allocation is expected to be about $435,000. For CDBG program, HUD regulations restrict the amount of funds to, one, no more than 20% for planning and administrative. So in order to implement this federal program, 20% cap is limited for the city of El Cajon. Public service has a 15% cap, and capital, physical improvements in the community that benefit our low-income areas have no cap. So the remaining balance is $780,000 based on a $1.2 million allocation. Additionally, $80,000 was identified in last year's allocation, specifically for the housing rehab loan program, or our mobile home rehab program. That's in excess of current year needs. So these funds are available for reallocation to public facilities or capital projects only. So this gives us a little bit over $1.2 million. This year, the city received 17 eligible applications for CDB funding, compared to 12 last year. So if you see the table that's up on the presented on the PowerPoint, you can see that based on the caps under HUD regulations, that CDBG administration is being proposed at $215,000, and $25,000 of that is being proposed for the Center for Social Advocacy in their fair housing services that they provide for the city of El Cajon. The city may also use these funds to undertake a variety of public facilities and public improvement projects that benefit low and moderate income residents. This includes all facilities improvements that are publicly owned or that are owned by a nonprofit but open to the public. Previous council direction has been to maximize and prioritize the use of CDBG funds for CDBG eligible city-owned public facility improvements serving the entire community, and to bring all public facilities into compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act. The City Council has preferred to prioritize funding to continuing phase projects and to projects already underway before funding any new projects. So you see under the public facilities, public projects, Wells Park Phase 1 is a comprehensive security improvement project. And it's recommended, these are recommended for this significant city asset, which includes not just security improvements, but also new landscaping and recreational activities. These improvements are a first step to improving Wells Park. The ECPAC ADA project is recommended for $150,000. This is to ensure that the facility is fully accessible under the Americans with Disabilities Act. Stoney's Park is the park that's over next to Ronald Reagan, and another $135,000 is recommended for enhanced security improvements and to make this park accessible to all. The city's ADA ramps and sidewalks program is a recommendation for $30,000 to continue this ongoing effort that the city takes on to ensure that there are adequate ADA curb ramps and sidewalks throughout the city. Home of Guiding Hands, this project is meant to improve a facility in town, a home that serves developing disabled adults. And the Cajon Valley School District project, this is a significant partner for the city of El Cajon. This project here is to help expand Wi-Fi access for thousands of students on the valley floor, primarily those students that come from low to moderate income households. So for the public services, the cap from HUD is 15%. So 15% of that allocation, no more than $180,000, can be used for public services. The Crime-Free Multi-Housing Program is a well-regarded community policing program. It includes crime prevention, training, and education for property owners, managers, and residents of multifamily complexes in the city. The majority of properties are located in low-income census tracts. The project benefits the entire community with reduced calls for service and a more stable and empowered tenant base and a safer community overall. A total of 165 properties, about 7,800 units, are certified in this program. This program has received operational support every year since 1997. Staff's recommendation is that this activity receive the amount of just over $50,000. Crisis House. Crisis House, as the council knows, has been in El Cajon for a long time, many years. They are on city-owned property, so they do receive in-kind support from the city. That's valued about $100,000 a year. The staff is recommending that $7,000 is recommended to help offset the cost of an assessment and housing placement coordinator. This helps Crisis House's homeless services that they provide. The East County Transitional Living Center, this program here, they're proposing to serve 270 persons with emergency shelter beds up to 28 days, as well as providing food and case management. The program has received operational support from the city since 2005, and staff is recommending a $100,000 allocation to this program. Meals on Wheels, this program here provides meals to low-income homebound seniors within the city. The program proposes to serve 155 seniors. And the Interfaith Shelter Network, this is a program that provides emergency shelter for homeless individuals in East County. provided through the churches that are in East County on a rotational basis during the winter months. Staff recommends funding this activity in the amount of $7,000. This home program has caps as well. No more than 10% for planning and grant administration can be used from this allocation, and also 15% must be reserved for eligible affordable housing activities, specifically to be conducted by a community housing development organization, or what's called a CHODO. So, for example, Habitat for Humanity is a CHODO. And the balance of the remaining funds of the 435 is allocated or proposed to be allocated to the city's housing program, which you see here on the PowerPoint, which are our first-time home buyer, our single-family rehab program, and mobile home rehab and replacement program. Also like to point out to the City Council is that there's an opportunity for reallocation of funds from the last fiscal. One of last year's program recipients, the Angels Depot Emergency Food for Seniors, was awarded $20,000. Unfortunately, Angels Depot had to close its services and its doors. So this resulted in a withdrawal of their application, and that funds are available. Staff was recently notified that East County Transitional Living Center's emergency shelter program has exhausted, and so due to their high demand for emergency housing services over the past year. So staff is recommending that the council reallocate $20,000 from fiscal year 16-17 of the CDBG funds to the East County Transitional Living Center's emergency housing program. An amendment to the one-year action plan won't be required since the amount doesn't equate to 25% of the total allocation. So the staff is recommending that City Council take the following actions. 1, open the public hearing and accept public testimony. Approve the proposed CDBG and home fund allocations. And approve the reallocation of FY16 funds for the East County Transitional Living Center's emergency shelter program. Next steps will include the preparation of the one-year action plan, as previously noted. There's a second City Council public hearing scheduled for April 25th. That's where the City Council will be asked to approve the final allocations and adopt the one-year action plan. Once that takes place, the staff will send the action plan to HUD for their approval. Once we receive their approval, and we anticipate that funds will be available just after July 1st. Staff is available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Tony. That was a great presentation. Council, you have any questions for staff? Bob?
I think they've done an excellent job of preparing a proposed plan for us. I really like it.
Excellent. All right. Belinda, do we have any speaker cards on this item?
Yes, sir, we do. We have several.
Let's get started.
The first speaker is Cedric Nadondo Lay.
Cedric, welcome.
Hello, how are you guys doing?
How are you, Cedric?
Good. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. All right. My name's Cedric. I am a job coach at Connect to Careers with the San Diego Workforce Partnership. I came out here from North Carolina to start school, college, aspirations of starting college. And then I actually went to the campus and found out that out-of-state tuition is intense and I wouldn't be able to afford it. The only plan that I could think of was getting a job and saving up for the next year. I looked around for some agencies and I found Connect to Careers. I applied online and made an account, and I got something called a job coach. And her name was Kelly. She walked me through the steps. She taught me how to make a resume. I didn't even know what a resume was. She taught me how to make a resume. She taught me how to dress business attire, how to get ready for an interview, how to speak correctly, professionally. She showed me a ton of jobs. It just so happened that there was a job coach opening actually within Connect to Careers. So I applied for it and set up an interview. I went in. I killed the interview, of course. And then about a week and a half later, Steven called me, and he offered me the job. So now every day I come in with the same aspirations as Kelly and the other job coaches as to getting the youth the people my age jobs so they can better themselves and, have a job, be employed. And I love my job, and I hope I can do even more for the city of El Cajon. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
John Voigt.
Well, sir, welcome.
How you doing? Good to see you. Haven't been here before, so a little nervous. My name is John Volk, like a Volkswagen with no swagging.
Okay.
I'm here to support CSA and what they do. They're a fantastic association that helped me greatly when things happened that I had no control over and didn't know where to turn. I've been in El Cajon for over 30 years, director of security for a number of companies, sub-rosa specialist, and investigator. Got cancer and spinal stenosis. I'm still battling both. When you're a single male at my age, you don't get the support. There isn't places you can go to get help, even though I worked 2 full-time jobs my whole life practically. You get referrals for government agencies, and you call those numbers, and those people aren't there anymore. You don't know where to turn. No one gives you help. Finally, I was referred to CSA without going into the situation, the finites. They were able to help me get focus. They also helped me to grasp the situation that I had no ability before. Never thought I'd be in that. Never was where I had no money or anywhere to turn. So, and I had insurance and everything, but that was about it. They came through with suggestions and ideas and ways that I could approach the situation. And without them, I think I would be another one of the street people. And I'm telling you right now, I've lived in El Cajon, like I said, for over 30 years. And I've seen the whole thing with El Cajon going like this. In fact, I had an office across the street where the J.C. Penney building was. And it became Cal Stores, which I was director of security for. And I also worked at North Island Naval Base as top secret security clearance. And so I just think I have the background and ability to support CSA the way they should, and I'm very grateful that they exist. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions?
No, sir, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Estela de los Rios.
Hello, welcome.
Hello, good evening once again, and congratulations, Ben Caluscio and Steve Goebel, to the City Council. And Honorable Mayor, good evening again. Executive Director of CSA San Diego County, and very privileged and honored not only to live here in El Cajon for 40 years plus, but also to be assisting and affirmatively furthering fair housing. And what does that mean? Assisting people that are disabled, assisting families that are low to moderate, as you all know. Also assisting with a consolidated plan to contribute to the analysis of impediments. And a lot of times, these issues that come forward are, as the gentleman just spoke, they don't know where to turn to, whether it's a veteran, a disabled person, a person with a lot of family that don't know what their rights are. We have 5 counselors now, and I just want to say thank you for all your support in the past years. And once again, here again to ask you and request your support once again. Of all the 6 cities that we have, we get overwhelming calls from the city of El Cajon. We get a lot of walk-ins, of course, because we're right across the street, very accessible. And now with the influx of newcomers, we're getting more and more fair housing calls. And we're now also have the privilege of having a HUD from the federal government FID program, which is Fair Housing and Enforcement. So we're able to do more testing and investigation on fair housing and discrimination. So just wanted to give you more of a analysis of what CSA San Diego County has been able to do, and we're very proud that we are your fair housing provider. And I just want to thank you and again request your support. Any questions? Anyone?
No, but thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for all the good work your organization does.
Jack Miklos.
Mr. Miklos.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. My name is Jack Miklos. I'm the Assistant Executive Director at Crisis House. Before I begin, I first want to express our gratitude for Mayor Wells, the council, city manager, city attorney for your support over the years for Crisis House. Without your support, it'd be very difficult to do what we do. I have some summaries here that gives you a little bit of an idea of Crisis House's achievements and their actions taken in calendar year 2016. However, tonight I'm here to speak to you in regards to CDBG. Our request was for funding for an assessment coordinator. HUD, under the HEART Act, required communities to initiate and implement a coordinated assessment and entry system for the homeless to better and effectively match individuals and families with housing opportunities. As a result, Crisis House has been elected and nominated to be the lead agency for East County to administer the assessment tool, which is the BI-SPDAT, and to do the coordinated entry for the region's homeless individuals. While regionally they secured funding to support the infrastructure for the coordinated entry system, they failed to set aside funding to support the actual boots on the ground for the individuals at the lead agencies to conduct the assessments and collect the data and do the data entry critical to the coordinated entry system. We respect staff's recommendations on funding. We understand you can't get water from a rock. You can't cut the pie up more than you can cut it up. So I know it's very difficult decisions. But this position is new. It does not exist. It's not attached to any existing funding. And it's critical to the continuation and the implementation of the coordinated assessment for the Eastern region and El Cajon specifically. So we appreciate any consideration that you have for this project.
Is there any questions for you? Steve?
Can you describe some of the job duties of this position you're seeking to fund?
The first and foremost is the first step in the coordinated entry system is an assessment tool. The tool is called the BI-SPDAT. It was developed and accepted by HUD as the appropriate tool for the assessment. The assessment itself, without supplemental questions, takes approximately 20 to 30 minutes, depending on the state of mind of the individual that we're assessing. So in some cases, that assessment could take upwards of 55 minutes if the individual happens to be, let's say, under the influence, or is developmentally challenged, mentally ill. There could be a longer term for that assessment. Once the assessment is administered, it develops with a score. The score prioritizes that individual on various categories and rates the individual with a priority for their housing. So special needs clients like SMI clients may be appropriate for permanent supportive housing. As a region, El Cajon has approximately, I believe, 200 vouchers that are specifically designated for those seriously mentally ill individuals. Once that information has been collected, that assessment coordinator then transfers all that information into a regional BI-SPDAT, which is part of the regional continuum of care, HMIS system, the Homeless Management Information System with the Regional Task Force on the Homeless. Ultimately, the plan is to open up that data universally across the entire county so that agencies in North County would be able to see the assessment and the services provided to somebody in El Cajon, per se. Housing availability then matches that person, becomes attached to a housing navigator, who then prepares that individual to become rent-ready, so to speak. We've heard employment-ready. This is rent-ready. They'll address issues of past evictions, poor credit histories, so that when they present themselves to a potential landlord, that they make the best presentation. That housing navigator also has developed some relationships with landlords. A housing opportunity may present itself for an individual living in East County in Oceanside, and that client then has the opportunity to take advantage of that opportunity or to deny it. It always lies back with the client's first approach, has the client's choice. The data is valuable. Once that system's opened up, individuals will be able to access services county-wide. The individual is the first step in that coordinated entry system, and one that unfortunately is not easily funded because no one's come out with an RFP at the federal level to fund this one position, but they've created the system, and we have to make it work. So, did that hopefully answer your question?
Okay. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
William Zucconi.
Good evening, Mayor Wells, Mayor Pro Tem McClellan, City Council members, and staff. My name is Bill Zucconi, and I'm the Rotational Shelter Coordinator for Interfaith Shelter Network. The Interfaith Shelter Network is a collaborative effort of area congregations, social service agencies, and cities throughout the county, pooling resources to provide emergency shelter to homeless families and individuals, and we've been doing this for more than 30 years. Utilizing congregational volunteers and facilities, people in need receive shelter, meals, and supportive case management programs to work to improve their situation. Over the years, half of those served by the program have left for more permanent housing, and more than half of the adults left with a job or income and benefits to which they're entitled. We run a case-managed shelter, which means that each person admitted to our program has an assigned case manager who has placed them on a personalized plan with both interim and permanent goals that they must achieve. The case management agency we contract with in the East County branch is Crisis House, which is located right here in El Cajon. Last year, the East County branch, which El Cajon is a part of, through the efforts of nearly 24 area churches, other houses of worship, and volunteer groups, 35 people were provided a total of more than 1,527 bed nights. The funding requested that we're requesting will go for case management services, client transportation, and portions of the salaries and benefits for part of the rotational shelter program staff. The funding also leverages the efforts of over 700 volunteers and have provided over 4,580 meals. I have copies of our annual summary of services available for your review should you want more information. I thank the City Council for considering our program for funding and would like to encourage your support. You're invited to come and visit the shelters during the season and see the good work your support and the helping hands that your constituents are bringing to life. Thank you very much.
Let me see if there's any questions for you, sir. Any questions? Thank you for coming.
Oh, okay. And
You could pass that to the clerk, and they will send it to us.
Edward Hershey.
Mr. Hershey, welcome.
Thank you. Evening, Honorable Mayor, council members, staff. My name is Edward Hershey. I'm the Vice President of Home of Guiding Hands here in El Cajon. We have a long history in East County of providing services. We're celebrating our 50th anniversary this year, serving individuals with intellectual and disabilities. We have two proposals in front of you this evening, and I'd like to thank you for your consideration of those. I'm available for any questions.
Let me see here. So the facility improvements, you asked for 38,000. No, I'm sorry. You asked for 23,000.
Correct.
What was that for?
Well, one of our residential homes for improvements in that home. Some ADA improvements in the restrooms, roof replacement, and an outdoor deck.
Great.
It is.
I think that 20,000 the staff suggested can get you there?
Yes.
Okay. That's helpful.
Yep.
Thanks for being flexible.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see if there's any other questions. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, by the way, you guys do great work. I
Thank you.
appreciate all you do.
Trudy Del Priori.
Hello, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, City Council members, and staff. I want to thank you, first of all, for all your support that you've given us throughout the years. It's been really great. We've been serving a lot of El Cajon Incorporated clients.
I'm sorry, what organization are you with?
I'm sorry, I'm with Meals on Wheels.
Okay. Thanks.
We serve up to 2 meals per day to clients here in El Cajon, and we are also our daily safety check, and we also do in-home client social visits. We also bring pet food to the clients that actually have pets as well. We are currently serving 89 of your residents, and we hope to get, by the end of the fiscal year, 155. We have been growing in leaps and bounds, and we're very, very happy to be serving. 67% of our clients are females. 44% live alone. So we are the only people that they see throughout the day or throughout the week. 31% are over 85 years of age. So it's really, what we do is really, really important. We are about 50% of our goal, to reaching our goal, and we thank you for your support.
I see there's some questions for you. Anybody have questions?
Just one. You bring the lunches, right?
Lunches and dinners.
Lunches and dinners. And how many days a week?
6 days a week.
Okay.
And if they want a meal for Sunday, Sunday's meal gets delivered on Saturday.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for what you do.
I just want to tell you, for the last 2 years I've gone out with one of your drivers, and I was really just impressed, mostly because it was clear to me that the people that were getting the food were happy to see the food, but they were more happy to see the driver.
Yeah.
And the driver would come in and sit down and talk for a while and interact with these folks, and they were so hungry for that interaction, and it was such a kind thing. It really touched my heart, and so thank you for doing what you do.
Yeah, and our campaign this year is more than a meal, so we're delivering, more than a meal, like you say, Mr. Mayor. We're delivering, a smile and a social visit and a nutritious meal.
Okay, well, thank you for coming, and we'll be going through the process very soon. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
I have no more cards for this item.
Wow, okay. So, council, let's see, you know what, we have to close the public hearing, so can I have a motion to close the public hearing? Moved and seconded, please vote.
The motion carries by unanimous vote.
All right, this is one of the most interesting and frustrating nights of the year for City Council. This is where we start deciding how we're going to break everything up. I think Bob made a good point. The staff has done a great job this year of making recommendations, but we're open to suggestions. If somebody has other ideas.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I have a question, I guess.
Yeah.
Is this where I can ask questions about some of these items?
You can talk about anything you want, Steve.
Okay. For the gentleman from Crisis House, have you approached the county for funding?
Please come up, yes.
No, sir, there's at this point.
Mayor, before
I'm sorry, we have to follow the rules. I need to
probably should
open the public hearing.
again, yeah, before you ask
So
questions.
the public hearing is now officially open. Please come up, sir.
No, sir, not quite sure who you would go to. The regional continuum of care in our proposals that's capped, that it's moving so quickly, that's actually changed. It's now the coordinated reentry system, or entry system. So recently, the regional continuum of care merged with the regional task force on the homeless. The regional task force on the homeless is the one that is now controlling funding. From the county standpoint, they have not issued any solicitations to fund such a position. It could be taken to various supervisors, so we could go to Supervisor Jacobs for that. But no, we haven't asked for county funding at that point yet. This we were notified and selected in late June, July of 2016. So.
Are you familiar with the county's Project One for All, where they have navigators to?
Yes. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
Project One for All, we actually have someone from County Behavioral Health that's in our offices 1 day a week working for individuals that fall into that category for SMI. So that is one segment of our homeless population out here. We heard earlier this evening there's a younger population out here. There is a population that is now seems to be a little bit more violent than in the past. And there's an older population as well that consists of in the homeless sector too. So funny that the people that are out here that we see on a regular basis, they're here by choice. Many of them grew up in East County, in Lakeside, Santee, El Cajon, Spring Valley, Lemon Grove. They've chosen to be here for a number of reasons. Some of them it's because they can hide in the weeds and don't have to carry their belongings. There's a little bit more dignity to be in the bushes than on the streets of 16th Street downtown. So they've made that conscious choice to be in East County, and it's fallen upon us to be able to try to serve them the best we can.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Just to enlighten the other council members, I think that the City Council, when I was on the council a number of years ago, bought the building that you're in and have leased it to you for, I believe, $1 a year, which was like a $400,000 building. Is that correct?
That's correct. In housing shortages and rent increases, that is a fantastic price, and we're very appreciative for that.
Yeah, so we do support you very heavily in that area, and wish we could do more, but I think we above and beyond. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet.
Gary, do you have a question?
Did we have someone from Mama's Kitchen here?
I guess not.
I guess not. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else want to call anybody else from the audience? I'd like to make a motion that a closed public hearing.
Second.
Move in second, please vote. And since this is, go ahead and finish that.
The motion carries by unanimous vote.
Since it doesn't look as controversial as I might think, let's go through page by page, if that's fine. On this first page, I'm comfortable with what the staff has recommended for the allocation between city housing and CSA. Does anybody have any objections, or somebody like to make a motion?
Motion to approve.
We just check with staff. Can we do it page by page like this?
You're going to do a full approval at the end. If you want to take straw votes at this point, you don't have to take a motion. You can just simply
A full approval at the end? Okay. So let's just check this off then. And then on the second page, since Home of Guiding Hands was comfortable with working with the 20,000, everybody else seems to be getting what they had asked for. Nobody came from Cajon Valley School District, so I'm assuming they're okay with the 25,000. And does anybody want to make any suggestions or changes on this?
I think it's very generous.
Any other thoughts? So we'll check out this page then, Jim.
Okay.
Now's your time to speak now or for everyone to speak.
So we're checking off pages 2 of 3 and 3 of 3?
Number 1, attachment 2, and number 2, attachment 2. So the first one was with city housing and CSA, and the second one was the one that had public works, Home of Guiding Hands, Cajon Valley School District.
Yes, my question about the county was I would be glad to speak to Supervisor Jacob to see if we can recover some of that funding that we're not able to perhaps provide.
I think I'm sure they would appreciate that greatly.
This is a regional issue beyond just the El Cajon issue. Supervisor Jacob and I have a very good relationship, and I would be glad to advocate on your behalf for that additional funding.
Excellent. So then let's move on to page number 3. And that's the one that has Crisis House and ECTLC staff. Is this where I should be discussing the $20,000 from the previous year?
Mr. Mayor and Council, no, that is a separate allocation.
Separate motion?
Yes.
Okay. Fine. So I'm comfortable with all these allocations. Does anybody wants to make a different motion?
Oh, I like it.
Any other thoughts?
What happens if we collect more money, or we are granted, I should say, more money than estimated?
Mr. Mayor and City Council, the estimation has been on pretty close each year. Slight increase, so we equally distribute based on the percentages in accordance with all the caps. However, the City Council can, if there's a significant amount, the City Council can designate a particular program that if a certain amount of money does come in, could be awarded to that program.
So during mid-year, could we say, it sounds like we know what the number is at the beginning of the year.
Normally, we would like you to make that decision now. So if there's one of these programs that you would like all of the excess devoted to, you could make that motion now. Otherwise, the protocol the direction the council's given us otherwise is to spread the excess, or if there's a decrease, but normally it's an excess because we estimate conservatively, spread it evenly on a percentage basis. So the council can do whichever you want. But to avoid having to come back and delay our approvals, we would ask that direction now.
I would have a suggestion that if there are excess funds, the first $20,000 go to Crisis House. I think their position is an East County region, so I don't want to bear the entire cost for El Cajon, but I think this is an important position in the long-term solution of helping people who are homeless. So if there are excess funds, I would request the first $20,000 towards Crisis House.
Do anybody object to Bob?
We've always kind of spread it out evenly, and I think that, we've given them a building. I think we've gone above and beyond as far as the city's concerned, and I think I'd like to see the rest of it spread evenly among the other participants.
He's talking about if there were any excess funds,
Yeah.
which the staff says is unlikely.
And I'm saying spread it evenly. That's what I would like we've done in the past.
The staff's asking us to choose at least
one or the other.
One or the other. You could have it spread evenly between a couple of different programs if that's what you choose.
I think there's a number of good organizations that we're supporting, and if we just split it up percentage-wise, I think that'd be great. Crisis House would get some, everybody gets some.
Steve, would you be willing to split that up between Meals on Wheels and Crisis House?
10,000 for Crisis House, 10,000 for Meals on Wheels.
What do you think, Bob?
Well, there's a lot of other organizations that need our money equally as well as they do, and, you know, I think I like the idea of what we've done in the past. We'd be setting a new precedent, is what I'm saying.
However you want to do it, it's fine. I think it's a moot point. I don't, staff's telling me there's probably not going to be any extra money, so.
Well, they said that there's always extra money.
Ben?
I hear what both of them are saying, and why don't we just, it's probably a moot point, like you said, but just to, I guess, play to the personality differences in those, just see if we want to go with Goebbels, and then I understand what Bob's saying, too.
Staff, can you give us any direction on this before we vote? Because let me tell you what I'm seeing.
Let me outline something. These public services is capped at 15% of the whole. So even if we're off, Tony, am I right? We were conservative by 40,000 total last year. So 15% of that was 6,000. So and historically, I'd say it's almost impossible we're going to be off by more than that. So realistically, if we're going to be off, the maximum is going to be under 10,000 going to the public services.
So the question was, if there were a little bit of money left, would you be comfortable giving it to Crisis House?
I think he wants to spread it.
So Bob's question is, can we spread it evenly amongst all the requesters?
Yes, and traditionally you have spread it on a percentage basis. So if East County Traditional Living Center was saying getting 50% of all the public services, they'd get 50% of any overage. That's what you've done in the past, but you can, as Councilmember Goebel say, you can designate any overage for only one or two or anything you want.
I'm comfortable with either. Gary, do you have any thoughts?
I'm comfortable with either one.
I got to make a decision, guys.
I think I'm with Bob.
Okay, so I'm comfortable with going along with that as well.
Okay. Well,
So
I'll
everybody
go along
gets
with
something, if there's anything.
Half a loaf is better than that.
Okay. Were there any other, though, changes to we're on page 3 now, with city police services going down to Crisis House and Meals on Wheels. Any other changes significantly that you wanted to make other than what the staff has recommended? All right. I think that's it. So then I make a motion that we allocate the funds based upon the same figures that the staff has given us.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please vote.
The motion carries by unanimous vote.
And then the 20,000.
And then we have to deal with the other 20,000 that was left over from the other fiscal year that was returned. Staff has recommended that we give it to ECTLC. Any thoughts on this?
My motion.
I agree. They really give us a big bang for the buck.
I think so, too. Any other thoughts? All right. So the motion and a second on the table. Please vote.
The motion carries by unanimous vote.
All right, staff, have we handled everything that needs to be handled? All right, good. Nicely done, council. Thank you.
Okay. Get out of here at 8 o'clock.
All right, I would like to remind everyone that final adoption of the fiscal year 2017-18 allocations will be presented at the second public hearing scheduled for 3 o'clock p.m. City Council meeting on April 25th, 2017. This brings us to the adjournment, the regular joint meeting of the El Cajon City Council, El Cajon Housing Authority, successor agency to the El Cajon Redevelopment Agency, held this 28th day of February 2017, is adjourned until Tuesday, March 14th, 2017, at 3 o'clock p.m. Thank you all for coming.
You could be an auctioneer.
Yeah, I'm getting fast on that paragraph.